So, the latest Bollywood film that I was able to see at my local AMC stars Shah Rukh Khan in JAWAN, which means soldier. And this movie was fantastic. I loved it. Now, I go to see these when I can, I'm in New York sometimes, I'm in Pennsylvania sometimes, I'm here, there, and everywhere. And usually, if you're near a major metropolitan area where there is a large Indian community, the multiplex theaters will play these. So, luckily, the AMCs that I go to do that. And I love the Bollywood film. I love the Indian film. They play like Hollywood films, but in another language. And you think, oh, it's the other side of the world. Their culture is so different. What these movies show you is how similar we all are as human beings. We want to see cars flipping through the air. We want to see people walking away in slow motion with an explosion behind them. We want to see singing and dancing. We want to see drama. We want to see the good guys win and the bad guys get punished in a gruesome way. And boy, does Jawan, no relation to Joanna Man, by the way, boy, does this movie deliver. So I'm not going to give you much of the story. I actually went in totally blind. I looked at a poster and I sort of got almost nothing from the poster. I just read that it was an action movie, and I know Bollywood really delivers well with action movies, so I decided to go see this. So basically, the basic idea of this movie is we open with a man is found floating in a river, left for dead, bullet wounds, taken in this mountain village by the local villagers, slowly brought back to health. We see him wrapped in bandages where he looks like a mummy. He looks like he's a dead guy, but this band of like soldiers rips into the village and just starts massacring people in a pretty gruesome way. Like, they're not really sparing anybody. They're killing kids, not graphically, but they are. A horse on fire passes the camera, which I appreciate. I love animals. I don't like animal cruelty, but I can never say, I don't think I've ever seen a horse on fire in a film before. Digitally, they even say what I love too about the Bollywood films, there's a disclaimer up at the front saying, the animals you see in this were taken care of. Certain animals they tell you up front, certain animals were CGI. And they also basically say alcohol and smoking are bad for you. Don't do that. So this massacre is happening, and this guy who was left for dead and slowly being nursed back to health comes like out of the sky, basically, takes the bad guys out like a kung fu mummy. And it was unbelievable and over the top and wonderful and ridiculous and really well shot and cleanly presented, which I appreciate because very few films from this country do that anymore. And then we flash forward to modern day. We're in India, urban India, and a team of terrorists take over a passenger train, like a commuter rail, and they threaten to start killing off the passengers unless the government does something that basically means they pay farmers back. They pay farmers' loans. And what the film develops into is part of the story. It's a Bollywood film, so it's 2.5, 3 hours. Never felt like it, by the way. I see a lot of American films that are like, wow, that could have lost a half hour. Wow, does that need to be 2 hours? The Bollywood films have a way of keeping it engaging. Like, the story took, and why I'm not going to tell you about the plot, the story took so many turns that were interesting and upped the ante and made you go, wow, I'm thinking about the whole thing differently now. It earned that running time. That running time never felt long to me. The only thing that felt a little long was that the film kind of wraps up, and then under the end credits, there's like another scene and another musical number that was highly reminiscent of Lionel Richie's All Night Long video, funny enough. So anyway, the film goes back and forth between this team of terrorists who are basically doing terrorism for good, for social change, positive change in the community, in the country, and the government officials who are trying to track down and figure out who these people are, who the head bad guy is. Is he the same guy who was in that village at the beginning of the movie? And it's just really, really good. There are all these like really noble themes in the film. It's about treating people right. It's about family honor. It's about not keeping secrets from family and loved ones. It's about government corruption. It's about it's like a really kind of noble action film that we have here. And as I say, it has the melodrama. It has the large scale song and dance numbers. It has very, very pro-female too, for a country that's not always known for that. Strong female co-star, and I'm not going to get into why, but like really like female forward, female positive characters throughout this film. It's so good. The cast is great. The leads are great. There is use, I don't want to say too much. There are some really good special effects in this film that accomplish something simple but don't really show, which is great. The action sequences are so well done. They're a little bit over the top. Well, they're kind of a lot over the top at times, but the Indian films, they know their slow-mo. They know how to make a dude or a lady look unbelievable on camera. There's always the guy with the open shirt and the wind in his face, but there's also the lady who shows up and she's got the wind. There's always convenient wind in these films. I really, really loved JAWAN. This is a film that I would consider seeing again with a friend who hadn't seen it. I would love to see this with a crowd because seriously, there are like stand up and cheer moments in this film. And I don't know if, I was thinking about it on my drive back. It's like, if this had been made in America, if you made all of these people Caucasian actors that I know and it was the exact same movie, would I have thought it was just big and stupid? I might have. But there's something about it, that membrane, that distance of it being another culture, being in another language, that allows me to maybe respect it a little bit more than if it was just in a big dumb American action movie. But it's got a lot of heart. It does melodramatic things that would probably be laughed at by audiences here, but I appreciate that they did them. And it's badass. It's gruesome at times. There are some wholesale slaughters of bad guys that are like, wow, that's explicit. I'm gonna just keep talking in circles. I really, really liked JAWAN. Again, JAWAN. If you can see this in a theater, you really, really should. If you can see the streaming, you should. Everything's better in a theater, I always say. But at home, you actually can stop it if you have to go to the bathroom. But you don't want to stop this movie because it's really, really good. So in theaters now, JAWAN.